How are you, honey?
I am good, beautiful. How are you?
Always good. You know that.
Yes.
I'm just shining away. No. Today,
The ray of
ladies.
effing sunshine. Yes. We said effing. We didn't drop the F bomb. We said
Oh,
effing.
we just use the initial.
Just the initial.
Well, to our audience, thank you for being here with us every week and following us and subscribing to the YouTube channel and TikTok and all that other stuff. And just for the record, I have one, and so does Moongirl. So look for us separately, and we also have a paranormal dolls one. So don't think you could just get away with one of us. So
Two for
today,
one, you wish, sir. No.
we have a good, very very good um, guest, Taryn from Paranormal Brew. Welcome,
Hey.
Hello, how are you ladies?
doing
Thank
fantastic.
you for coming on. We
Oh,
appreciate that.
you have no idea. I'm very thankful and honored that you guys asked me to come on. First of all, you two, I love Paranormal Dolls. I love the name. Um,
Thank you.
you two are so yin and yang, and I love it. You guys kind of belong together. Moon Girl, I love your makeup and everything. Like I
Oh,
totally
thank you. We
like.
appreciate that. I make
So
a lot of my own makeup actually, so thank you.
oh, okay. I do. I like how you. I could never do that. I would look like Chucky's bride.
I mean, look, I should stop. I'm pushing 40, but I'll probably die looking like this in the coffin.
Well, it's a good look.
Thank you.
She likes to look like Vampira.
I know. I love
In
it.
my very deluded mind, I think I'm the Mexican Elvira.
I see it. I can
Yeah.
see it. Listen, I always, whenever I get asked, do you want to be, if you had a choice to do a werewolf, a vampire, or I think a ghost or something else, I'm always like, I would vamp it till the rest of
Yep,
eternity. I'm like, I
those
love it.
those things are cool.
They are so cool. Vampires are so cool, and just a lifestyle, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so I totally get it. I would look like I would not fit in, because I wouldn't be able to do it. Somebody would probably have to do everything for me, but um, or else I
Oh
would
no,
look.
you know what? We need to take you to a vampire ball one
Yeah.
of these days. You would love it.
I
They're
love that.
amazing, and then you'll get some fangs too.
Oh yeah, I love
Nice.
it. Yeah, totally. I just found out about that. I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a awesome guy, Father Sebastian. He puts on these amazing vampire balls. I love them, and he does really amazing work with he'll do fangs. I have some. They're very beautiful, and they really don't come off. They're like custom to your mouth, so they don't look fake. They look like you went and got a fang job.
That's awesome. A fang job.
A fang job.
And here in Pennsylvania, well, in New Jersey, there is a club that
Oh, really?
every Friday night and Saturday night they gather and they have dances, they have classes, they have very beautiful community, very understanding and open, and you walk through there and that's it. You're part of them. So it's
Yeah.
not like, they make you feel different or anything. Because let's face it, everybody makes them feel different. So
Yeah. Well, actually, it's interesting because I wonder why, at least the things that I go to, think where places I've been, the two worlds have not collided.
right.
Why is that?
Because
Well,
I get go ahead.
I actually, I really do think the horror community blends very well with the paranormal because I think that there is a lot of parallels to that.
There is a
You
lot.
know,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
is so much to it. So that's why I always tell Glenda, I love having not only paranormal people on here and mediums but also people who are part of the horror community because I'm hugely involved. I love the paranormal community and indie horror. So we'll bring some of those people on and they happen to have paranormal experiences and they share it with us. So I think there is parallels. There
Yeah.
is a lot of
There's
parallels.
a few like
Maybe
horror.
you haven't run into them yet.
No,
Maybe.
I'm saying everything I've been to has been paranormal based or UFO. You know what I
Right.
mean? There's been
Yeah.
UFO, Bigfoot, stuff like that. But it's interesting. I know that there are some horror cons that have been opening up to the paranormal, like wanting to have the paranormal. The Phantasm in Florida, I think, originally was a Halloween horror type of a con, but
Hmm.
as of last year, started to, bench out to the paranormal community and wanting paranormal people to, be vendors there as well.
Right.
But yeah, I think it would be an awesome thing for like vampire community, you know what I mean, to kind of set up a table, you know what I mean, or some people come in that are in the vamp community into like
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
some of the paranormal cons,
Yeah.
something different, something cool, something awesome. I mean, they have
Yeah, something for everybody.
Right.
And I mean, like in horror, there's a lot of paranormal movies.
yeah.
There's a lot of that. In fact, I even have a script I wrote. So there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, there's a paranormal activity, the poltergeist. I mean, we can go on and on. So there's a lot of there's stuff in there for us too.
Yeah, that's so true. All right, so enough. Okay, I'm sorry. I was like,
No, right.
Yeah.
Right. We love this.
you guys, and I'm supposed to be on your show. Sorry.
No,
No,
no.
we want you to talk.
Yes. So we just want the audience to get to know you and what what you're about.
Mhm.
Obviously, some paranormal part, but what your experiences have been, and
And she's fan curious now.
Thank curious. I love it. Hashtag thank curious. I'm gonna put that on a shirt.
It belongs in a shirt. I'm fan curious.
I love it. I love it.
Lordy, Lordy.
So I guess
Tell
that's-
us.
yeah. All right. So the answer to how I got into the paranormal, it changes. I'm learning as I get older because of the more I learn about myself, the more I start to remember things from my childhood or my past that kind of seem to makes me believe that, there are some things in life that were picked out for you. You know what I mean? I don't think everything in life is, because obviously we have free will. We can make our own decisions and that changes. But I think there are some things subconsciously that occur and happen that, got me to where I was at today. I do give credit to my mother and my father for where I'm at right now. My mom more, she got me into the paranormal and also helped me to find Gettysburg, which Gettysburg is my Calgon, my heaven.
We love Gettysburg too. We love it.
There. I want to live there. I want to die there. I want to get my ashes thrown there, and then I'm going to haunt the Eisenhower farmhouse. I've got it planned already.
A woman with a plan. Yes.
Yes.
I even have the coordinates tattooed on my arm.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So I am a huge Gettysburg lover. I owe that to my mother, but she also got me. I had my first experience in Gettysburg. Prior to that, it was just, I was that enthusiast, where I'd like to watch the shows. Ghost Hunters was my favorite, and Ghost Lab. But I would sleep with my radio on real low. I'd have my back to my room. I had a night light. I didn't want to hear nothing. I didn't want to see nothing. All that. I was not into it. But so my mom, and then I think for both of me and my father, it was a totally a subconscious thing, and I think it was a spiritual thing as well, because he passed away 23 years ago. He was only 45. I was 22. And like I said, as I go on and I learn stuff, I'm learning that everything that I went through with him and things that we've experienced together, and then how he's made his presence known to me after he passed, because it's not just smells. It's not just generic. A lot of people, those things have happened, but those things can kind of be poo-pooed away from, oh, is this your memory, or, is this, that, or that? He's definitely made himself, when he wants me to know, he makes me know, like, there's no doubt,
Right.
that it's him, letting me know he's still there. So and everything just always seems to come together and intertwine and get me. And I look back and I'm like, okay, this is the journey I'm supposed to be on.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Now, you mentioned that your mom got you into the paranormal. So she was like really into it herself, or was she just curious about it, or do you
Yeah,
think
she
she had
was.
any gifts?
She's an enthusiast as well. I remember when I was probably like 7, maybe no, I was older than that. Maybe I was probably like 10. Me and my friends, 3 of us, got a hold of a Ouija board and we walk in our house. My mom was like, excuse me. Walk back out with that. You put that outside my house. I don't want it in my house. So right away, like that was the first, and I was like, what? Now, so she told me all these. Now, a normal mom would be like, oh, make something up, like
Right.
whatever. But no, my mom was like, she didn't care if it scared me or not. She was just like, well, when I was a teenager and we played with that, this happened and that happened, and I'm like, oh my god.
Traumatized.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, it's horrible, and I believed her, right? And so that was the first thing. And then, my mom was always like, she would always watch, like, she watched X-Files, and she watched, we watched Unsolved Mysteries together, stuff like that. And things were happening in our house, but, and I knew what it was, but I kind of like blocked it out a little bit. But I would go to her and I'd be like, this happened, this happened. She goes, oh, that's just Brad. I'm like, who's Brad? She's like,
Our ghost, our
goes,
family ghost.
I named him Brad because she was in love with Brad Pitt. So she's like, if it's Brad, then she won't be afraid of it, And that was her reasoning. And I was just like, okay.
It seems legit. It makes sense.
So when we went to Gettysburg for the first time, she's like, I want to get out. It's 9:45 at night, and she's like, what? She wanted to see a ghost. She wanted to have communicate, and I was like, you are batshit crazy. Oh, am I allowed to curse?
That's okay. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I said, you are a crazy woman. 9:45 at night. She wants to get out and walk into the wheat field, and I'm like, I will wait here for you. I said, but the doors will be locked, but the windows will be rolled up, and you got 5 minutes. And before she could get out of the car, I thought she passed gas. It was this horrible smell, right? So I looked, I was like, oh, I was like, did you fart?
It was Brad.
That's a good one. I wish I would have remembered at the time. And she's like, no, I thought you did. And I said, oh no, I would own that. I was like, I don't know what. And then all of a sudden, on her side of the window, on her window, the passenger side window, and it hit so hard you could see the window shape, but it was like boom, 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 boom. But there was nothing there, and I put my foot on the gas pedal, and I took off. And she's like, "Where are you going? I want to talk to it." And I said, "Drop and roll, Grandma. Get out. I'll see you later." I am not sticking around to see who that was or what it was. I had no idea. And then the second night we were there, she wanted to go on a ghost tour, and these people offered a VIP nighttime investigation. Where
Your mom seems like so cool. I already love her.
she wanted to do
She
this.
needs to go on an investigation with us.
So I did not want to do this at all. Just so you guys know, she was like, we're doing it. I didn't even want to go to Gettysburg. I'm like, what's Gettysburg? The second I got there, I fell in love with it. So, I already loved it at this point, but she wanted to do all this ghost stuff. And I'm like, okay. So she paid for it. She wanted me to go with her. So we're out here with this ghost hunting group, and now, mind you, this is the first time I'm ever doing anything like this. I have this, like, what I now know is a K2 meter. I didn't know what it was at the time.
Right.
And we're all investigating, and it's called the Creek Bed. It's behind Steinwar Ave in Gettysburg. And I all of a sudden I felt really cold on one side of me, and I still felt normal temperature on this side of me. And I thought I never felt anything like that before. So I tell them, she does the temperature thing, and it's literally, now this is the dead of summer. I'm like normal temperature on this side, and it was like 67 degrees on this side. Like, And they're like, "Oh, that's weird." So the one of somebody came forward to try to feel the cold, and when they got forward, it went away.
Mm.
Then when they stepped back, it came back. And this happened a couple of times. Then they started to test it. You know what I mean? They wanted to see, and I wasn't moving. The equipment's like the lights are going up, and they're asking questions. They're doing EVPs, and she asked one question. She said, "Do you like her?" And afterwards, we were listening, and you hear a male say, "No, I love her."
Wow.
And at that moment, I was like, "Whoa!" I wasn't afraid.
Right.
And I didn't feel I had this experience and I wasn't scared. I was more intrigued. I was more I know what I felt, and I know what we didn't hear. Nobody said, "No, I love her," and
Right.
no one heard that either. So I was like, "Whoa, this is cool. I want to learn more," and I want to learn more. Now, mind you, Ghost Hunters had already been out, so I was watching the shows, but I never, you believe it, but you're not sure that until you have that experience, you know what I mean? Then it became a quest to do it, and there was a Ghost Hunter store that around me, I started to do you know, like amateur stuff. Me and my sister and her boyfriend go running around in cemeteries, because we didn't know any better. We
Right.
just, this is what we were doing. Um, and I went to get some equipment at the Ghost Hunter store, and the person that owns it was just like, I run a group. You should join my group. And I said, I don't know. He goes, it's 3 months of training. It is intense, but I got to prepare you for what's out there, this and that. I'm like, sure. I'm like, I don't know. Well, I fought it for a little bit, because I would go there to buy equipment. I'd go there to get stuff, and he'd be like, come on, join my group, and I would talk to the other people. Like I got to know the other ones there, and they would tell me how like like a spaz he was. Like he was like a drill sergeant. I'm like, why would I want to sign myself up for that? Like I would, why would I do that? Eventually I did, and it really was it was a very we had it was 3 months of training, and it was a lot of training, a lot of you know, if you will, classroom work. We did cemetery training, cleaning up and cleaning the stones, and
Mm-hmm.
go out there and do all that stuff. We private homes, lectures, stuff at libraries all the time. October was always really I didn't get a break all of October. Even during the week we were doing stuff, So I learned a lot. I was so thankful to be a part of that group and learn from the person I learned from, like at the time that I did, because a lot of it still sticks with me, even though I keep learning and keep, you know, the more I'm getting to know people, and I'm broadening my horizons and learning and opening up. And um, when I say open up, I don't mean opening up to like gifts and stuff like that. I mean opening up to I had to Paranormal Brew started in 2016 and 17. 16 just, audio, and then 17 we started to do video. But back then it was nothing but ghosty stuff, paranormal stuff. I started to open up my show to everything. I mean, UFO, um, um, Satanists, anybody and anything that I could learn from. I just wanted to learn. I don't judge anybody for their beliefs. I don't, so for me, it's more educating myself and learning about other cultures, other beliefs, the way people see the world. Um, I even
You'll always be a student of the universe. That's what I always say. I'm like, I will forever be a student of the universe. Doesn't matter how long I've been doing it all my life, but
right.
there's always stuff you can learn and from
Yeah,
other people.
absolutely. You have to have that open mind. You have to know that, you know, anything is possible. Anything is possible. So because I've never I'm not saying I don't believe in Bigfoot, but I also am not saying that there's not the possibility he could exist. Like there's that possibility. Who am I to say you're wrong because you believe in Bigfoot when I believe in ghosts. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yeah. So the possibility, I just would have to experience it, just like I did the spirit world. You know what I mean? So I would have to have that experience, to say that I believe in it. But I'm not saying that it couldn't happen. I'm open to that. So I don't know where I was going with that. I do have ADHD, so if I start to just go and go, I might forget my train of thought.
It is hard to like believe something for, I want to say, the normies or whatever, until you actually see it. And even if you are someone who's gifted or
Right.
spiritual, sometimes until you see it, you're like, okay, because I've always believed in duendes. It's a big part of our culture, whatever. But I had never seen one
Right.
until a few years back, probably like 17 or 16. I can't remember, 2016, 2017. And I had never seen that. And I knew stories. I believed in it because of our culture, but I had never seen it until I finally saw it. I was like, holy crap,
Right. Yeah.
whoa, it's really real. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally get it.
Yeah. I love when that stuff happens. I welcome it. Like, you know, I don't want to say like, oh, I want to see a UFO, but I do want to see something in the
I do.
I've seen it. So
I want to see, I love space. I love the night sky. I love meteor showers. I love lunar eclipses. I love when anything weird happens with the moon, or if you're going to see a comet or anything like that. I'm all
right.
about it. I'll stay up all night long. And I have yet to see anything. And I'm like, come on. I spend hours looking at this sky.
It always happens when you're not looking for it.
Yeah,
I promise you that.
I know.
Even in the paranormal, when
Yeah.
you're not looking, it happens. Some of my craziest experiences is when I was not investigating. When
Yeah.
just out of the blue, something, and I call Glenda, oh my God, Glenda, guess what happened?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the questions I ask people when they come on my show. I'm like, what's the most profound experience you had not investigating? Like just living your daily life. Like if you were at the grocery store in the bread aisle, and picking out a loaf of bread, or you know what I mean? Like, and I like to ask that to people that aren't like psychic mediums, because psychic mediums who are legit, they obviously have experiences on the reg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so for people that aren't, open to that, for me, I'm not a psychic medium. I can't walk into a place and be like, oh my God, I feel a presence. I can't do it. I'm just a paranormal investigator.
You didn't get possessed? Just kidding.
I can hear disembodied voices, and that is all I got. You know what I mean? And sometimes, very, very rarely, um, I have picked up on people that have crossed over.
Mhm.
Um, but that has happened, like you said, Moongirl. Um, it's happened when I wasn't trying to do it. I mean,
Right.
I was sitting with my accountant one time, and he's talking to me, and all I keep hearing is a woman in my head going, Barry, Barry, mention Barry, say Barry. And I'm trying, because he's my accountant. We all we've done is taxes and business, right?
Right.
So he's trying to talk to me about my taxes, and I'm like, he's like, wah, wah,
So
wah.
who's Barry? No.
I said, Greg, I need to stop you. I said, you know what? You're gonna think I'm crazy, right? I said, you are. I said, but I needed to say it so that I can hear what you're saying to me, because I can't right now. I said, there is a woman that's telling me to say Barry. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I know. But when I said that, it started to get like quieter, but I could still hear it. And I said, yeah, Barry. And I have to say this because you're talking and I can't hear you, because that's all I'm hearing in my head. I was like, so Barry. And he's like, I'm like, do you know anybody named Barry? And he's like, I have a cousin Barry. And then the voice started to get less. And I said, okay, do you know a woman that would? And he goes, well, his mom just passed away. And boom, voice went away.
Wow.
Yeah, because he delivered the message.
Yeah.
And it
So
really is like the movie Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg. It really is that way. You just like ignore, and they're just like in your face because they know that you can hear them or see them, and they want you to either acknowledge them or pass a message to them. And then when you do, they'll leave you the heck
yeah.
alone.
So I was like, okay, well, can you just let him know? Like, I guess maybe she said hi. I don't know. All she was saying was Barry. So can you just let him know she's okay and hi? Maybe, you know?
Right.
And he's like, okay, I will. That wow, that's how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know what just happened. So like, I was trying to listen to you, and that just happened. So, but so things like that have happened to me, but it's very rare. You know what I mean? Like when I'm on an investigation, I will hear disembodied voices. I will say exactly how I heard it, if it was an accent or if it was grumbly or whatever, and then I'll stop the recorder, and rewind it right away, and we'll all listen to it. I get everybody to listen to it to confirm it wasn't anybody, to confirm nobody heard that, whatever.
Right.
That's my favorite thing, are EVPs, recorders, listening to audio. Audio to me is the best type of evidential data, because how do you explain
Right.
that,
Well,
especially
Taryn, to correct you,
what?
you're talking about hearing the spirits and talking to them and hearing them when nobody else hears them. You are a psychic medium.
Oh, I don't
You
know
just
why.
have a different Claire. We all have different Claires, so you are one. Just
I don't know. So I for me, it didn't feel like a psychic medium type of a thing. You know what I
right.
mean? Because for me, it's just, I don't pick up on all the other stuff that psychic mediums pick up on,
Mhm.
I know the one thing that happened to me one time, I did start to take a mediumship class, because I'm in the medical field. I've been in the medical field my whole life. So I have that natural, I want to take care of people. I want to help people,
Right.
So if I were to do that, I'd want to do it to help people. I went through a very tough grieving process with my dad. I lost him tragically. We were best friends. Um, so that experience alone, and then I found therapy in going to see people like John Edwards. You know what I mean? And going to, even if I didn't get picked on, seeing him help people, and seeing their reactions to me was a form of therapy for me. So, I did look into trying to do that, and the first person I ever tried to do a reading on, I had this thing where I had to hold their hands. I don't know why, but it was just one of the things I had to do. I held their hands. I would look away, close my eyes, and just trying to, I'd be quiet for a minute. And I didn't know what I was doing. Like I said, I have ADHD, so my brain does not shut off. So meditation for me is nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible. So it's very hard for me to get to that, to do that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Um, but I started to pick up on, I won't give details unless you guys want it, but I was picking up on this, a woman to this person. I didn't know this person at all. Never, I don't even know her name, you know. She was picked for me, like as part of the ending of the class that we were having,
Mhm.
so it was kind of like a trial thing.
Right.
And I'm picking up with this woman, and this woman, I couldn't tell who she was, and this girl, it was, I think she was one of those people that was told, like, not to move, not to breathe, not to blink your eyeballs, not to do anything, so that, I mean, I don't know how to read cues anyway, so, but everything I was saying to her, there was no validation, there was no feedback, finally, I'm like, "Does any of this make sense to you?" And, she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "It's my mom." And I'm like, "Oh." Now, the one thing I did say, like, I would say to her, like, I feel like how she passed was her fault, is what I was getting. And I'm like, not that she committed suicide, and not that, I said, but this was something like she knew, like, people would say, you're gonna this is gonna kill you, it's gonna kill you, and she just didn't think it would happen to her, and like that type of a thing. Like, she just kept pushing them up, and I'm like, I don't know what it is. I said, but it's not suicide. It wasn't anything like that. She's like, I just feel like she knew what she was doing was wrong, but she couldn't get away from it. So what she said to me was, this freaked me out a little bit, to the point where I never did it again. Um, she said, "Well, I said, "Well, when did she pass?" And she said, "Well, she didn't pass." And I said, "Where is she?" I'm like, "Why was she coming?" I didn't understand what was
Right.
happening, you know? And she said, "Well," she said, "when I was born and stuff, my mom was in black magic." And she's like, "Real black magic." And she said the cult she was in, she said after she had me, she's like, and my family would tell her, that she had to get away from this. And, she kept trying, she kept trying. And one day she told them she was leaving the group. And um, they said, "That's fine. You can physically leave, but we own everything else." And she basically, within a week, um, became mentally like unstable to take care of herself or anybody. So her parents did adopt this girl. So her grandparents are her grandparents and guardians,
Right.
um, and the mother was in a mental institution because she was a walking vegetable. She couldn't do. She was like a 3-year-old again. She couldn't do anything. Um, so I was picking up on her past. I guess I don't even know. I don't know what it was, but the fact that it was all black magic stuff, I was like, "Ooh, nope, uh-uh, nope, want no parts of that." And that made me feel uncomfortable. And because I don't, that's one thing I don't know about, And for me, not knowing about something, it should be something that I don't even mess with. And if that can happen, doing that, I don't want to do it, you know. So I did step away from trying to do it, you know what I mean? Because that freaked me out a little. Um, but um, so for me, I don't look at it like that. I just look at it like, and also, I do know that having ADHD, I learned this recently, that you can have, because everybody says I have bionic ears. Everybody I investigate has experienced me hearing something and then catching it on their, and we're listening back. So it's I have that validation behind me, not just, and the recorder. I mean, I don't know how you argue that, um, but like, shit, lost my train of thought.
Sonic hearing. Sonic hearing.
Oh yeah, thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
I had somebody on my show, and he's a doctor of like herbal medicine and stuff like that. And he was talking to me about ADHD, and he was just saying how people with ADHD have super sensitive hearing. That is why when you're in a room full of people and the person in front of you you're having a conversation with, you can't hear because you hear everybody else's conversations.
Right.
And I'm like, it's so true, And then I started thinking, okay, I'm on Adderall for my ADHD, and I'm like, well, can that hinder like my hearing? And he's like, possibly, because one of the symptoms of that is being able to hear so well, and so I don't want to lose that, so I'm like, I don't want to take medicine then. I want to be able to
It's
hear.
your superpower.
Yeah, I want to be able to hear.
Did you have any problems when you were younger with your ears? Ever?
Not that I can recall. I don't,
So do you think this just kind of developed as you got older, or
because like I said, growing up in the house, I look back now, and I had experiences that I didn't know were experiences until I learned what happened. And that includes, like, I mean, even when I first got into the paranormal, it's almost like triggering stuff too. Like,
Right.
I didn't realize I had experience with a like something black shadow over top of me.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Until I learned about that stuff, and even then I didn't remember it until it came up, and I was like, "Oh my God." And then I would, "Mom, do you remember this happened?" She's like, "Yeah, I remember." And I'm like, "Why didn't we talk about this?" She's like, "'Cause I didn't, it happened so long ago."
Right.
I remember, like, I had this first experience ever was, I think I was probably about 7 years old, and I was at a lake, it's called Atsion Lake, and it's cedar water. But my mom would take us there every weekend. I mean, that was like the best babysitter in the world. You go to like a lake where it's not deep or anything like that. But anyway, I'm in the water and I'm like waist high and it's weird, but I can see like a dollar bill down there on the ground, And I was like, oh, at 7 years old, that's like how many Swedish fish from the Swedish,
Right. Exactly.
right? Like, I can get 100 Swedish fish with that. So I go under and I have my eyes open, and as I'm going to reach for it, I see this Indian boy coming swimming at me so fast, like at a high speed of like I can't even imagine how fast it was. Like
Right.
you just see it like so fast, and I jumped back. I swallowed water, and jumped back, and I was like, oh my gosh, like the water went up my nose and then my throat because it like startled me so bad. And I remember being able to see red swim shorts, and he had black hair. And I remember his nose was abnormally large, like not normal native to our area,
Right.
meaning present time. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was like his nose literally came out to like here. I just remember those features for some reason. And like I said, I jumped back out of the water and I waited because as I'm standing there, I'm starting to think like, oh, I wonder if that was his money. And I was going to say sorry because I didn't, I he
Right.
was coming at me because I thought he was trying to like steal his money or something. I don't know. This was my thought process at 7 years old, and I was going to say sorry to him. He never came up. Never came up out of the water.
Very interesting.
And I was too scared to go look for the dollar because people are like, well, was the dollar still there? And I'm like, I have no idea.
And I'm not gonna go find out.
I was nope.
Did you, now that you're older, did you ever like try to go and find out details about the place, if there was any history or?
And people ask me that, and I still, well, now that area is Native American, there's the Lenape Indians or Lenape, however you want to say it. So that place is all has Indian burials and Indian artifacts everywhere.
Right.
It's interesting that I'm drawn to. So this was Atzion Lake. I've been drawn to a cemetery called Atzion Cemetery. It's in the same area. This is all Pine Barrens. So Pine Barrens is where the supposed Jersey Devil is from,
Right.
that stuff, and where the mafia probably has 1,000 bodies buried back there.
Yes.
It's the craziest woods in the world. Like, I don't care what anybody says. There's,
I grew up in New Jersey, so I know.
Oh, yes. Pine Barrens, right?
Yes.
You could I won't go back there unless somebody knows where they're going, because you could get lost back there. Very
Yes. Yeah.
Take Glenda.
Yeah, I won't go unless, here's like, the place is really cool, but it's scary.
Yeah.
I'm afraid one of my biggest fears is wrong turn people, because I really think they exist. And I don't want to be in the woods and see some wrong turn. I would die. Right on, like my heart would.
You see, I want to go to the Appalachian Mountains, but I'm not per se scared of the cryptics, but I'm scared of there is wrong turn people.
Wrong turn people. Oh my God. Like, I would literally die. I would just die. I can't even imagine. I saw like 2 minutes of that movie, and I've had nightmares ever since. And it is ruined.
It was actually a true story, though. Like some. Or was it The Hills Have Eyes? One of those, yeah, like something.
The Hills Have Eyes. Please tell me The Hills Have Eyes, because I can't. So it has really, and then you throw Blair Witch in there too, because
yeah.
Do you see it? Back to the horror with the paranormal parallels.
Well, I'm telling you, I don't care if it's not, the movie wasn't real. Everybody's like, oh, it's not scary, it wasn't real. And I'm like, can you imagine being lost in the woods like that and not being able to get out? And then throw in the wrong turn people? Nope. And so I can't do woods by myself. Like, I can't just, now the only place I can do is Gettysburg. I'm not afraid in those woods. I will go anywhere in Gettysburg. But
with Gettysburg, is ghosts. in the woods, there's so many other things that you throw in there. Also, there's a lot
Oh,
of people say there's portals in the woods as well, and like hidden bunkers, and some people are never seen again. Other people say there's like hidden bunkers that has like alien people, like aliens in there, and they do like government experiments, and the ladders that sometimes are out of nowhere
yeah,
there, or the doors.
yeah.
And then, of course, your hill have eyes
Oh,
people.
long-term people. Oh my God. It's like it's horrifying. I much rather run into Bigfoot. I would much rather run into an alien, any other type of form of anything that would make me poop my pants than any type of a wrong turn person. Like there's no way. No way. So I don't know. I just where was I going with that? So
How much you love wrong turn people.
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, so Atzion, so the cemetery, Atzion Cemetery. For some reason, I became very drawn to that cemetery. I have some Class A EV, my first Class A when I was like an enthusiast, so it's obviously left an impression on me. But me and my sister and her boyfriend would go back there because he knew the area very well. He knew the woods real well, and so I'd go back there with him, and we go to Atzion Cemetery, and I have the two of the best EVPs from there. I mean, and intelligent, and for some reason, I get a lot of intelligent stuff, even in Gettysburg, mostly
Good.
mostly intelligent EVPs and recordings. But Atzion Cemetery, whenever I go there, I always get EVPs or I have some type of experience that's caught on video or audio. I've never seen an apparition. I've seen more recently. I saw something that looked like if you guys have ever watched, which I'm assuming you have, but my God, what's that horror one that it's the same character every season, but they changed the storyline? Like the first,
American Horror Story?
yes,
Yeah.
okay. So American Horror Story, the first season, the man in the black, the back.
Yeah, the suit. Yeah,
I saw that shit while I was on vacation.
Wild Vacation.
On vacation, I was not ghost hunting. I was on vacation, and when I say vacation, every year I go to Myrtle Beach and I shut everything off. I don't do my show.
Okay, now if you tell me you saw a guy dressed like that in Myrtle Beach, I'm gonna flip.
I'm not kidding. And
I
it's
almost
weird.
went there this year too.
Yeah, it's
Gotta
weird
think about
because
this now.
it was noon and we were getting ready to go to the beach. Me and my boyfriend are in the kitchen and I'm looking at him, but something catches my eye. And the way that it's hard to explain, but I only saw like this part and back of
Mhm.
the guy. He had that black, like it looked like this black pleather suit. The best I can explain it. He wasn't shiny, but that's how black it was. You know what I
He's
mean?
like Kinky Ghost.
Yeah. And I saw it. I didn't feel threatened or anything. You know, I saw him, and then the dog is coming out towards me, and I didn't realize I couldn't hear until I could hear again. So I lost my hearing while it was there, because I started to hear the dog's nails on the hard floor. So as soon as it walked into the room, the dog came running out of the room. I don't think it scared the dog. I just think the dog started. I don't know. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear what happened, but the dog came out, and as the dog's coming towards me, as soon as he gets to me, I can hear his nails, and I realized I'm like, wow, I couldn't hear anything for this couple of seconds.
Mhm.
That is probably the oddest, craziest thing I've ever seen.
That is pretty odd, yeah.
I can't explain that. I honestly
So
don't.
my question to you is, did you finish watching the season after you saw that guy?
No. Well, I watched American Horror Story. As I get older, I can stomach a lot less.
Yeah.
So the last horror movie that I thought I was going to love, but I watched and I got through it. I don't know how, but I couldn't eat pizza for 2 weeks. I couldn't eat soup for 2 weeks. The whole movie, I was like pacing it with anxiety. Was Chainsaw Massacre with Jessica Biel in it. Like that
Yeah.
was the best one I could watch.
You know what? It gave me anxiety too. It
Oh,
did. I felt like I was there getting chased with the chainsaw.
oh, thank you. I mean, nobody else has ever like told me that they felt that. I was like, I felt like such a baby, but I was like, I can't do this. I was like, oh my god.
It did give me. I was like in my mind, I felt like I was Jessica running away from the.
Oh my god, it was terrible. And you know, I grew my grandfather, my mom's dad. I was 3 years old watching The Exorcist with him, and we'd be sitting on the couch and I'd be laughing. My mom said she'd walk in and you and my dad would be laughing watching The Exorcist. He thought this movie was funny and you loved them. And I remember I used to watch all that stuff, you know, and now I just can't do it. I become a I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm like, I'm always like, well, does the dog die? Does any animals die? You know, like all the things that could possibly happen, like Saw, or I've never even watched the previews for Hostel. I can't even imagine what went on in that movie.
Well, to me, as long as no animal, like I'm good. Everything else, but the animal thing, I'm like, oh, it's yeah.
The animal thing, I can't. I mean, there's so many movies that the animal stuff is stuck in my brain. I'm like, I'm torturing myself, you know? So I'm just not gonna do it. Like Leonardo DiCaprio is my favorite actor on the face of this earth. But I never saw that movie where he was in the what the heck was that movie where he was lost in the like in the mountains?
Oh, and the water? No, at the beach.
Like had to fight a bear or something in the movie.
Oh yes, I remember. Okay, yeah.
He was like trying to survive in the wilderness.
Right.
Yes, I forgot the name of the movie, but I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, no, because I'm like, I'm sure numerous animals die in that movie, and I won't even be able to handle it. Give me a zombie movie any day. Vampire movies I'll watch. You know, stuff like that. Like World War Z was awesome with Brad Pitt. I love that movie. I love all the Blades. Like I'll watch that stuff, but I can't watch like. I wish I never saw it, but The Strangers.
Oh yes, I remember that.
That was just too much.
Well, to me, I could handle like getting chased with a chainsaw. But what freaks me out is like pandemic movies. It was like my biggest fear ever. Viruses, and what's that movie called? Outbreak from like '94. You don't even know what that did to me. Like that triggered my OCD. I was terrified specifically of viruses, and here we are in the middle of a damn pandemic. I was mortified. That scares me.
Yeah.
Like getting chased, getting like
or like
crazy clowns. Yeah.
Like natural disaster stuff, like tidal waves that like just swallow New York and shit. Like
because that can happen.
I know.
That's like so. That's why it's scary.
I know. I'm like, I need to learn how to fly a helicopter.
What do you think is your like wildest or scariest like paranormal experience you've ever had?
That would have to be Hinsdale House. I have told this story a lot because I can confidently say this was probably the scariest because I don't even know if it was paranormal, to be honest with you. I honestly think it was a bear. But we were there and we were outside and 3 of us were outside, 4 was inside. And I felt I don't like woods. Hinsdale is we're surrounded by woods, right? So right away, not on a
more wrong turn people.
Exactly. This is what's in my head right away. You know, they're like, oh, don't mind. There's a lady that lives back there on the hill. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. You know, and you know, you hear all these dogs barking up there, and that's just the worst situation is going through my head. Like, you know, and so anyway, I'm already nervous out there at nighttime. So we had a FLIR and we had a night vision camera. So we were out there for a little bit without that stuff, and I'm like, listen, we need to go in and get more stuff so I can see what's going on around me. I don't like that. Jason's going to come out of the middle of the woods, or some crazy wrong turn person, or like there's some stuff happening. I don't even know. So we went and got that stuff. I made us have our back. There's 3 of us, but I made us put our backs to ourselves so we could have a 360 view.
Right.
And I got I'm going on to the flare with your life, and I'm going like this. I'm going, and we're doing EVPs. We're doing an EVP session, and all of a sudden we hear this. The best way I can explain it is, it sounded like if somebody were to drop a boulder on a large mound of dirt. So it was like this girthy, solid, loud boom. And I was like, what was that? And we don't see anything. I'm like, listen, I don't feel comfortable out here. Let's go back towards the house. So we went back towards the house. We're sitting by the bonfire. And a little bit of time's gone by. I've calmed down. I'm good. I felt okay near the bonfire, near the house. I was fine. And I hear this bang on behind us, like where the house is. Have you guys been there yet?
I have not.
Great place to go.
A long time ago, but I can't even.
Yeah, you got it. It's a great place.
Right.
So I have my flashlight. I turn like this, and I'm waiting because if you shut the refrigerator or in the house or the bathroom door, you can hear it.
Right.
So I'm waiting. I'm just making sure one of the girls inside didn't. I'm thinking one of them went to the bathroom or to the refrigerator. So I sat there for a couple minutes. Nobody was in the kitchen. So I'm like, interesting. As I'm panning back, I see blue, greenish, whitish, beady eyes where we just were at, right? And they're up high. Not high, people high, but like large animal high.
Right.
At first, I'm thinking deer. So I'm like, what's that? Now I have equipment on my lap. I got like my recorders and stuff. And my friend Kelly is sitting here and Megan's standing up. And they're like, what's what? I'm like, right there. And I grab the flare. And as I pull the flare up, it turned like this. So now it wasn't head on. It turned. And it was humongous. It was huge. I'm like, whoop. I stand up at this point. And I'm like, boy. I was like, what is that? And they're like, what? And I'm like, right there. And as I put the flashlight up again, I see its eyes. And it's like going like this. Like it's walking, but it's coming towards us. And I'm like, oh, I was like, that's a fucking bear. And my butt cheeks clenched. A tear came out of my eye. And I ran in that house and they're like, where? I was like George Costanza. If you watch that, where the nursing home fire, where he's like pushing the old people out of the way to get out. That was me with them. I literally ran over.
It wasn't a bear. It was a wrong turn, people.
I was so scared. I ran in that house. It's funny because my equipment went everywhere, right? So my recorders were left out there. So I record the whole time I'm somewhere. Right. I'm recording because I don't want to miss nothing. This is the funniest audio I've ever heard because you hear all this happening. They're like, where? I don't see. And I'm like, right there. You can hear the hard fear in my voice. You hear me like run, and you hear them going, Taryn, where are you going? You're boom. The door just slammed. I didn't care they were even talking. That was the scariest thing I've ever. I don't know what it was because then they at first thought they were like, it's Bambi. They thought it was a deer. That was not a deer. That was too big to be a deer. But they claim that while they were out there, now I didn't see this, so I can't say for sure.
Right.
But they claim that it looked like it went into two, and like the back of it was wispy. I don't know. They would have to say what they saw. You know what I mean? Right. But that's what they said. I stick with bear at this moment because I wouldn't run from a ghost.
Besides, you may want to visit again and
I'm definitely going. I love that place. That place was awesome. Yeah, it was definitely one of the coolest. It's on my top 2, 1 maybe. It's probably my favorite place so far, besides Gettysburg.
Right.
But I have.
Well, besides those places, where somewhere would you love to investigate that you haven't gone to yet?
The White House.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many books out about how all these presidents have had experiences in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess maybe because it's that place you're never going to get is why that's my number one place, that I would love.
Isn't that Lincoln's wife? I think her name was Sarah. I don't remember that she haunts it there. She used to have a lot of seances when he passed away.
Yep.
So he shut the White House down.
Yeah.
And they say that when she passed, she's also, haunted, and they had opened kind of like a portal with seances to like just random people
Every
came in. So
Yeah,
yeah.
there's so many presidents that have been there that have I have several books on it. But there's a lot of presidents that have been there that have, stayed there, staff, presidents, everybody that have had experiences there. And why not? It's one of the oldest buildings in our country. You know what I mean? So, I think anyway. But it's interesting. I mean, you think of everything that's going down in there. Some of the craziest stuff is going down in there. Why
All
not?
the secrets to be a fly on the wall, man.
I know, right? So I think that would be the really cool place. And maybe it's because it's such an untouchable location that it intrigues me a little bit more. But aside from that, I think I would love to go to Italy, and I would love to visit some places in Italy. Well, I am going to Pompeii.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
So
Fancy schmancy.
yeah, we're taking a cruise, and one
Ooh.
we're going to is one of the excursions is Pompeii, and I'm like on it. Let's go.
Yep.
That's been on my bucket list even before.
So you have to come back and like show us any evidence of any, or at least
Absolutely.
pictures when you come back from the trip.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait. Italy to me is Italy, they're very spiritual people. They're very religious as well. So I feel like that kind of, and being so old as well, like the structures are all old and there's so much, I can't imagine. Like we're going to the Vatican too. And I'm not Catholic, I'm Christian, I'm not Catholic, but that to me, I don't know. It just, for it just seems like a very, take the Catholic out of it. It seems to me to be a very spiritual place. So I'm looking forward to that because
there's a lot of abandoned houses there as well for some reason. So maybe you can poke around there too.
Do some Urbex Italy.
Yeah. Fun.
The last place I want to end up is a jail outside of our country.
Yeah.
Oh no. No.
Yeah, they're not exactly the same as here.
Right.
So
Even here.
I would like to go, like in the States. I would like to go to McIntyre Villa. That's out. I think she's in Kansas. I would love to go to like Tombstone and places like that. The Alamo. Just
Yeehaw.
Yeah, just to get to some places that are because I love history. I love historic places. I love history. So it's not just about the paranormal for me. It's also the historical sites as well. Like if I couldn't do a paranormal something, I still want to see these places. I still want to go there. I want to experience it. I want to, go to Tombstone. I want to go to the Alamo. I want to learn the history of these places and be there. So I also have been doing stuff with Paranormal Reality TV. I filmed a couple episodes with them. I'll be filming this weekend with them. And they're on YouTube and Facebook. And I think, what's the one that came out where it was for gamers first, and then everybody else started to like jump on it? Twitch or Twitch? Is it Twitch?
Twitch or yeah, it might be Twitch.
Yeah.
I think they're on. I'm not. They are, and then I've started to get offered to come to locations and do live interviews and then a live investigation.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. So the first one I did was Octagon Mansion in Woodville, Virginia, and now I am so excited. The Gettysburg Academy asked me to come out, so I'll be going out there September 29th and 30th for the world's largest ghost hunt, and we'll be doing a live interview, a live investigation.
Nice.
So that'll be awesome.
Glenda and I have been on the world's largest ghost hunt.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys will have to come on my show.
There you go.
Yeah.
I would love to have you guys on.
I would want to just say thank you because we come to the end. And,
oh yeah, sorry, I talked.
They're but do come back, and we'd like to thank our audience. Thank you, Moongirl. And many blessings. We love you all.
And the
Bye.
long-term people, we love them too.